Okay, it's 7 o'clock if we want to go ahead and get started. Mark, I'll do roll call and then we can go ahead and start.
Okay.
I know Kathy's not going to make it and Mark's going to run the meeting tonight, so Mr. Kane,
Present.
Mr. Dukic,
Present.
Mrs. Fawcett is not present. Mr. Maciosi.
He's on mute, John.
Yeah, Dave, you're muted. I see you there. Mr. Burak. I know he's here. Emil, you got your, okay, there you go.
Present.
Solicitor Rakunas and Veronica Mowry.
Here.
Here.
And Veronica. Okay, Mark, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order at 7:01. John already did the roll call. We'll start with the pledge, as we normally do. Please stand.
Go on.
Pledge allegiance to the
To
flag
the flag
Of
of
the United States of America and to the
and the
republic
republic for which it stands,
stands
one nation,
one nation under God,
God,
Visible,
indivisible,
justice
with
for all.
liberty, justice for all.
You're making it official.
Yeah, we even do the national.
Okay, so we did the call to
You're in
order.
the audience, so you have to do it.
You guys want to take a couple of minutes and review the minutes from the previous meeting, which I guess was in October. Just take a minute or two, review those, and then I'll ask for a motion to approve.
That Wi-Fi over there. That's why we can get the calls.
Friend, if you called me, I just couldn't answer.
When someone's ready, if we could have a motion to approve those minutes from October 21st, 2020.
I'll make the motion. This is Emil.
I'll second.
We need to vote on that. Everybody say aye.
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 Okay. So the minutes from October were approved. John, do you want to go on to, or are there any citizens to address?
If anybody wants to address the planning commission, unmute yourself and let me know. Wait a minute, we lost Dave Maciosi for, oh, no, wait.
I
You
couldn't
logged
get
in
my,
twice?
couldn't get my microphone to work on my other
Oh,
laptop.
okay. Okay, there's, it appears to, no one wants to address the planning commission.
Okay, then that moves us on to new business. Do we have a representative for the Elizabeth Township Sportsman subdivision to discuss that?
Niles, are you here? Somebody's logged in as GOS, but I don't know who that is. Oh, wait, there's somebody else joining now. Hang on. Let's see.
John, it doesn't appear there's a representative of the Sportsman's Association. If you're not speaking, if I would have everybody mute, please.
George, can you mute yourself? George, we're getting a lot of feedback from you. Somebody joined on an iPad. Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see you now.
Hi.
Can you hear?
I don't think we have anyone. I know Niles was supposed to join us for the meeting.
Did Veronica review the subdivision plan?
Yes. Veronica?
Yes, I did review the subdivision plan.
Does it appear to be standard, or is there an issue, or should we table it? What do you think? Or is it a sort of non-controversial, sort of plan? What's your opinion?
All they are doing is shifting the lot line. There is a comment in my review letter that is an error. I wasn't addressing the garage as being an accessory structure. So I had made a comment that the side yard distance that they provided was not accurate. However, it is good. A side yard for an accessory structure is only 10 foot, and that's what they are providing. So I would like to strike that comment from my letter. The rest of my comments are completely, I want to call them housekeeping items. They need to add the right-of-way width for the state right-of-way. They need to add some notes to the plan, but nothing in my comment letter would change the actual layout of the plan. It's just more of clauses in that item.
Okay, and I see Niles just joined us,
Yeah.
so we can ask him if he has any comments about the proposed plan.
Niles, do you have anything you want to say to the planning commission or?
I don't know if he can hear us.
Niles, can you hear us?
No,
No.
doesn't appear so. We are having some major technical difficulties today.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was on my end or not, but it seems it has everybody.
I blame it on Mark since he's running.
Thanks, Matt. Veronica, I did have one comment. You mentioned all your comments were clerical in nature. The only thing I saw was for the seals, where the seals go, they have Forward Township instead of Elizabeth Township. That should just be changed. That I don't know if you caught that or not.
I did not catch that. Thank you very much, Mark, for pointing that out. I will replace my variance comment with that one. I'll trade it.
Other than that, it's a standard lot line shift kind of subdivision. And
Yeah, I mean, it's up to the planning commission. If you wanted to make a approval, subject to the comments of the engineer, you certainly could do that if it's non-controversial.
if somebody would like to make that motion contingent upon the engineer's comments.
I'll make the motion contingent upon the engineer's comment.
We need a second.
Second, Amy.
Okay, then all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, then that passed contingent upon Veronica's comments and can go on to supervisors. As far as the review of ordinances, John, you included the pet ordinance with your email. Would you like to explain what you'd like us to review and maybe update?
I can, Mark. So
Okay.
at the last commissioners meeting, the commissioners had discussed, there was a complaint from a resident regarding some dogs owned by his neighbors. It's been an ongoing issue, and originally it started as a complaint regarding the fencing. John was able to go and review the fencing. The fencing meets standards of the ordinance, so there was no violation for fencing. But this individual resident has concerns about the number of dogs and other things with these dogs, and he feels that They've escaped a couple of times, but not through the fence. The neighbor has left the door open and he, got out through the garage or whatever. So there's been some issues there. And the commissioners have asked the planning commission to review the current ordinances dealing with dogs and really do two things. Number one, clean up any conflicts in the existing language. I think we have one particular conflict dealing with the number of dogs and a registration process. And then generally they want us to kind of review what we can possibly do with regard to, this issue with, I think, barking and you can't say they're dangerous because they've never bitten anybody, but I mean, this neighbor is concerned over that. So we generally just need to look at these ordinances regarding dogs, and John and I certainly can do that prior to the next meeting, make some recommendations. I'll try and pull some ordinances from surrounding municipalities and see what they're doing to give us a better idea. But that's just something that's added to our plate from the commissioners, which is to look at these ordinances relating to dogs particularly. John, do you have anything to add on that?
No, just like some of them we do have a conflict in there on the number of animals. And the ones, our registration just states, you need to register with the township, the animals information. We do have a dangerous dog provision in ours that somewhat mirrors the states. We seem to be missing a little bit from the state. So I'll go over that with Matt, because we kind of have to follow the state guidelines on that one for the dangerous dogs.
So Matt, it sounds like you and John are going to come up with things you would like to see added. Maybe for next meeting, can you put those in there and maybe highlight the changes or something like that?
Yeah, we'll try and work on that, and whether we give you a red line version or whether we're just giving you a new ordinance that'll have the sections to review on it. We'll try and put something together for you and give you maybe even some, like I said, some other ordinances from other municipalities to give you guys an idea of what we're looking at. I mean, as you can see from what was submitted, we already have pretty comprehensive ordinances dealing with animals, in general. It's pretty lengthy, as a matter of fact. So I don't know how much cleaning up the conflicts is one thing, but in terms of the regulations, like John said, as far as dangerous dogs and those things, we're going to be more guided by state regulations and other things like that. Plus, what we have in there is sufficient. I mean, if the animal has a propensity and is deemed to be dangerous by the magistrate, there's a whole procedure there. So I don't know how much, we're going to do, but it's something we want to look at. We want to make sure belt and suspenders, make sure that we are doing everything that we possibly can to alleviate any concerns of any resident regarding, the issues that have been complained of. So John and I, we'll take the task on that and hopefully get you something by the next meeting.
Okay, so it sounds like there'll be more discussion on that probably next month. Is that accurate?
Yeah, there will be. But I will tell the planning commission as well, if there's something you guys want to see or you have thoughts on dogs or, whatever else is out there on this, please let one of us know and we'll certainly try and incorporate that into whatever we're doing.
Yeah, please review the copy I sent you on chapter 2 for animals. And, if you see something or, have an idea on something, please let us know.
Okay, so is numbers the main thing we want to be considering, or the registration process, or that's something you guys are going to be kind of going in depth on?
Yeah, I think the commissioners just want us to look at everything in general, not saying that, everything needs to be changed, obviously, but I think they just want us to look at each section dealing with all of that and make sure we're comfortable that it's the most that we can do. Again, this issue with this resident is a difficult one because he's making complaints that he's concerned that these dogs are going to get loose and are going to attack somebody or his child or him or whoever. Again, the fencing is sufficient, so we can't really do anything with the fence. As far as the numbers go, the guy has registered any excess dogs, I believe, right, John?
Yes.
So he's really compliant at this point, and anytime the dogs have escaped, it's not been through a fence or due to a lack of security. It's really just been like the dog got out because the garage door was left open. So something that could obviously happen to anybody that owns an animal. So it's been difficult to try and you can't really do anything. And it's difficult because obviously the resident doesn't want to hear that, but the guy has not been not compliant at this point. So I think the planning commission is charged with making sure that we have everything in place. You know, say this happened to you, and I sympathize with the resident, certainly. You know, if I lived next door, I'd want to make sure my municipality had everything in place to protect me. But again, the dog hasn't bit anybody, hasn't attacked anybody, hasn't, you know, any of those complaints too would probably go to the county, you know, as being, you know, registration through the health department. So, but we want to do what we can and make sure we're looking at these things to give, you know, the security that at least we've looked at them, we're comfortable with what's in place, and we're doing everything we can.
Okay, so it sounds like that's something we need to be reviewing throughout the next month or so. Matt, can you update us on the, as part of the old business was the solar ordinance? Did that go through with the commissioners, or did that not be presented to them yet?
John, residential solar. Did we pass that? I feel like we did. It went to the county.
Yeah, we passed that.
Yeah, we passed it. They passed residential solar, yes.
Okay. So it sounds like for now that we'll be waiting on John and Matt's comments for the animal ordinance. And if there's nothing else, John, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
The number of dogs you were, which is why I zoomed into the meeting. If you register your dogs, then it doesn't matter how many you have, say in a plan, or are the neighbors notified that someone wants to have 8 dogs instead of the 4 or 3?
No, the requirement simply states, if more than 4 animals, and this is the most recent ordinance in 2006, the other one is older that contradicts it. If more than 4 animals 6 months of age or over are kept on any premise, regardless of the number of owners, the owner of the premise must notify and register with Elizabeth Township. That's all it says.
Okay, thank you.
Did that answer your question, Sandy?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I just didn't know. When you register extras, is there a limit on the extras? Or once again, the neighbors around this person, I did watch the commissioners meeting. They were concerned with the numbers of dogs, not just the danger of them. So thanks, you answered.
John, as a follow-up to that question, if someone does come to register more than 4, can you say no at that point?
Not according to the ordinance, no.
Okay.
John,
So
is there
that-
any mention of a kennel license or kenneling dogs in the ordinance? Because I didn't see it.
There is in some under zoning, but it's some of it comes down to the definition that we have. Let me see if that's on this one. Yeah, kennels are covered by zoning, and I believe part of that is like, you know, watching people's animals, to be adopted.
And what about property size?
The one section does,
I want to talk.
one section we have does state with number of cats and dogs, which is an older ordinance from 2000. That kind of takes into consideration farms and everything.
Hey, John, this is Emil. I have a question. Did people have to register only if it's 4 or more animals? Anything
they're-
less, you don't have to register? I'm just curious.
If you have more than 4, the one ordinance, the one section says if you have more than 4, you must register with the township. The conflicting older ordinance states no more than 5 dogs or cats in the household. And that wouldn't apply to anyone owning 50 or more acres of land.
Okay, I just want to clarify, you don't have to register an animal if it's less than 4.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Other than if it's required to have a license. And Matt, when we're at this, we may want to also look just again at our part 5 of that, keeping and licensing of cats section, which definitely needs some work.
Yeah, we'll add that to the list, John.
So Matt, can we tie that to an area, like number of pets per, say, square feet or acreage or something like that? Is that reasonable or no?
I don't know. I want to see what else is out there. You know, I don't like to try and reinvent the wheel. So I'd probably, you know, to be honest with you, what I'll probably do is, you know, look at municipalities our size and you know, our demographic and see what they're doing and see if there's something in there that looks the same or better than what we're using. So I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming you could, but I don't know. I don't know what the repercussions of that are. You know what I mean? It just this is a hard one because trying to limit or make people do stuff over a limit of number of animals becomes, people don't like that. You know, just in general, they don't like their municipality saying how many pets they can own. You know, or what they have to do to own more. So. You know, I'm hesitant to put too much restriction on it. At the same time, it has to make sense. I don't want to just put a number on it because it's a number. It's got to make sense where it gets to a point where it's a health and safety issue more than it is, we just want to regulate the number of animals you have. You know what I mean? So it's got to make sense. And that's kind of what I think what you're saying. If you have a larger square footage, larger area, you should be allowed to keep more animals. That makes sense to me.
Yes.
So I think that's what I think those are the types of issues we'll be discussing forward.
Okay, then nobody else has any comments or questions. We'll await John and Matt's review and additions to the current ordinance. And I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Then the meeting is adjourned at 7:22.
Okay. Have a good evening, everyone.
Yep, you
Take
too,
care.
John. Thank you. Thanks, guys.